Alright, so today is the second day, and before I start I want to show you the condition of the existing tattoo. So yesterday we didn't wrap it with anything. You must have seen people who do 2 sessions, they put a lot of ointment, they wrap it, so I recommended to keep it like dry and to not put anything on this, because I wanted to ooze it and get it dry. So if you can see the tattoo, everything is all dried here, right? And same with the yellow color and the orange and all the blending. I wanted this because now when I'm going to work on this area, this particular thing is going to be protected. The new color will not go over it easily because all the pores are packed with the body fluids. So I'm not planning to clean it as such. I'm going to do a little bit of wash, but not a deep clean over to this. I'm going to keep it as it is. I'm going to finish the entire tattoo like this. And this is my way of working. Now there are so many artists have different ways of doing things. This is how I continue my tattoos. And about the stencil, as you can see, the stencil is still intact. So I asked my clients to take care of the stencil. In case if the stencil is gone, I can place it, like I place a new one on it, and it's quite an easy thing to do. But it's not covered in this webinar where I work with 2 stencils. So let's get started. I'm using the same setup today. I've got the colors again a little bit. I mean, if you see, I've placed the colors in different cups this time based on today's requirement. I'm using a Sol Nova with 15 Magnum soft edge. I'm using the Magnum sideways as I need a soft edge, need a soft thick line, as it's going to be a starting point to work inwards towards her mask, towards the cheek area. And I'm doing it with really light hand while the machine is running really slow at 60 Hertz. The reason I have to go slow and easy right now because I'm working on exactly on that area where I finished the piece yesterday. So it is already a worked area. So if I go really hard on this area, it's going to damage the skin. So I have to be very careful. Also, while cleaning with tissues, while wiping out, I have to be very careful that I go really light hand, and at the same time I wipe it away from the yesterday's piece and not just go over it. The reason is if I wipe it and if the color goes over the yellow and the oranges, it'll absorb the color, it'll absorb the darker color, and what will happen is your piece will get muddy. So I want to click some good pictures at the end of the session, so I don't want my piece to get muddy, and so I have to make sure that I keep it clean. For that, I mean, it's a best practice to wipe it away from the from the tattoo which was done few hours ago, or the previous day. And now this actually doesn't affect the final outcome once it is healed. So even if I go over this and if the piece gets muddy, it's not going to affect the final healed outcome. It's just at the end of the session, if I want to click some good pictures, I have to make sure my piece stays clean, and that's why I'm wiping it away. As we learned about the paintbrush color packing technique, I'm using that technique with my pendulum technique. I'm just combining both, as you can see on the screen. I'm going with slow machine. I'm smoothly pushing the needle into the skin while my machine is at a good angle, it is not going straight, not a perpendicular angle as such, and I'm pulling that needle off smoothly so that I can create a gradient out of it. So if you see both the edges, the top at the bottom, you'll see that there is a smooth transition happening. So if I want to mix any other color, it's easy. And as we spoke about, can you see how fast it is color packing with this technique? I just had like 2 or 3 strokes over it and the color is nicely packed into the skin. I'm going to create a nice color blend from here, which you can easily relate to the color fundamental session which we did earlier, where I showed you how I mix the colors on piece of paper. So far I'm working on a darker shade of blue, and I'm actually following the reference, the image on iPad, and where I'm working right now, it's the darkest area in that patch, and so I'll finish the darker area first, and then I'm gonna start blending with other colors. So I'm gonna go upwards from here. So after the blue, as you can see in the image, after the blue, the blue, as in the dark blue, the blue is gonna get lighter and it is going towards the mint green color. So through the technique of the paintbrush and the pendulum, the mix of it, I have a nice color packed area while the edges are really soft, which are kind of open for me to blend the other colors and create a nice transition from one color to other. So I've picked up a true blue color now, so it's time to create a transition, and I'm gonna do the same kind of technique and mix the color with the previous one. So what I'm doing is I'm going halfway over the previous shade which I have there, so that it mixes it with it and we get a nice gradient out of it. I'm not washing the needle as much, so I have the color in place and I'm just dipping it in a little bit of water, little bit of cleaning, not the entire thing, and then picking up a new color so that I get a color which is in between the two colors I pick. So as you learned before, I mix the color in the needle and in the tip, and the second blending happens on the skin. So I picked up the sky blue color which I have in the palette. So it's going to go lighter from here. So now it's a sky blue color. So once this is done, you'll see me again dipping the tip to the next color which I need. So I have now white into my tip, but as you can see, it's not white because I didn't wash the needle entirely. I just picked up the white with the existing color in the tip, and I got a lighter color in my tip which is going on to the skin now. So now we have a mint green color in the needle. I washed it a bit more and now we have nice mint color going in. with the blue which I did previously. Very similar to what I did on a piece of paper with the pigments. So no fast movements, no rush here. I'm going slow and I'm just focusing on nice color packing technique. As you can see in the image, we have this white highlight coming off the eye. So I have to be careful that I don't go over it, because I'm gonna push the whites, pure white, in the next session. The session which I'll work on only whites. So once the entire piece is healed, I'm gonna do whites after that, maybe after 90 days. So I have more white into the tip. It's easy, right? I mean, it's easy to create the shades in the tip. So whichever color you want, which is a color, in between the two shades, the two main colors, you just have to dip in one and then dip in another, and you get, a color which is the mix of it. This simple understanding helps you create all the required colors to create a nice, beautiful, soft transition. Again, I took the blue and dipped it in a white a bit, because I need a little darker shade from here. I didn't wash the needle. I had the mint green already in it. So I added blue to it in the tip. I'm saying it again and again, but that's simple. I mean, you keep dipping your needle into different caps to get the different colors you need, and that's how you do the mixing. Initially, you might find it difficult or tough, but that's not really it is. It is just your mind needs to understand it. It's more like a common sense. So the only way you're going to get this right is if you practice it more. So I would say start painting. Your painting doesn't have to be the best as such. What matters is you understand, you play with the colors, and you get to understand it, how it works. And for me, that's the easiest way. I mean, doesn't matter how much learning you do or how much tutorials you watch online, until and unless you don't do it on your own, you won't get it right. So practice is very important, and first time, second time, third time you're going to fail a lot. So you won't get what exactly you thought of, but that is very important, because that is actually setting up the right path. That is actually help you, or rather reveal the right way of doing it. As you can see, I have still not washed the needle. I'm just playing with different colors, doing back and forth to create the right blends.